morning. Could you please all rise for the singing of the national anthem to be followed by a moment of personal reflection? Thank you. Good morning and welcome everyone to our regular council meeting of May 30th. All members of council are present today except Councillor Miles, who is away on vacation. Could I please remind everyone here at today's meeting, please ensure your cell phones and other electronic devices are turned off or placed in a non-audible mode during the meeting. Members of council, there are a few agenda changes identified in the package in front of you. I'm going to ask our city clerk, Mr. Fay, to read the changes for today's agenda since its publication last Friday.
Mayor Jeffrey, members of council, members of the public watching or in attendance today, these are the changes to today's agenda. Item 10.2, minutes audit committee of May 22nd. Those minutes are distributed to members this morning. Item 18.1, a briefing report from the Office of the Chief Administrative Officer regarding government relations matters. It was distributed by email yesterday, I believe, and is distributed to members this morning. The following items were listed on the closed session agenda for distribution prior to the meeting. Item 21.1, minutes of the closed session of City Council from May 16th. I believe packages were distributed to members of council's offices yesterday. And item 21.4, information regarding advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, was also distributed to members' offices yesterday. In regard to item 3.1, which are minutes from City Council from its regular meeting on May 16th, there is replacement pages 3.1-27 and 3.1-28, and they're revised to update the status of matters that were reported out in public arising from closed session. Item 5.2, which is an announcement regarding 2018 summer events and markets. There is printed material that was distributed to members' desks this morning. And in addition, in regard to item 8.4, which is listed on consent on today's agenda, it's a report regarding an application to amend the zoning bylaw and draft plan of subdivision for CanDevCon Forest Side Estates Incorporated, southwest of the Gore Road and Royton Street in Ward 8. There is correspondence from Eric Mertzu, project planner, CanDevCon, regarding this matter, and I believe it's requesting deferral of this item to a future meeting. Those are the changes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Are there any other councillors? Councillor Bowman.
Thank you very much. Through you, Madam Mayor, I'd like to add an item, an announcement. So I guess it would be 5.3. Martin Bowl from Economic Development is here just to give us a very brief overview of an upcoming economic development trip that he will be on.
I'm actually told it's going to be 16.1.
16.1,
And
great.
it's going to be a verbal update?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Councillor Flashy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to add from staff, they provided us with a report, or they're about to provide us with a report, a transmittal report, application to amend the official plan zoning bylaw Royal Cliff application.
Okay. So
Item
that's
16.2.
16.2. Yep. Councillor 14.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to add the discussion on the Riverstone Golf Course.
16.3. other items? I have a motion moved by Councillor Williams, seconded by Councillor Bowman, that the agenda as amended for the regular council meeting of May 30th be approved as printed and circulated. All those in favor? That's carried. Do any members have a declaration of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act for any matter to be discussed or considered on today's agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk. We're now ready to move to the next item of public business on today's council agenda. This is item 3 of the minutes. We have the following council minutes before us. These are the minutes of May 16th. This is for the other one, okay. Moved by Councillor Pelletier, seconded by Councillor Bowman, that the minutes of the regular council meeting of May 16th be approved as printed and circulated. All those in favor? That's carried. At consent agenda, the items listed with an asterisk on the agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial. The consent motion is to adopt this matter on today's agenda without the need for a separate discussion on the item unless a member requests a separate discussion. Does any member wish to add an item or remove an item from the consent motion on the agenda? So 8.4 is, as the clerk identified in the changes and amendments, should be removed from the agenda. Any other items? Moved by Councillor Willens, seconded by Councillor Bowman, that the consent agenda be approved. All those in favor? That's carried. Do we need- Is this later?
No, that was the one that we actually carried.
Okay. All right, our first announcement today is regarding medal wins by Brampton boxers at their national championships. Boxers Garinder Takar, Satwinder Singh Thind, Jasprit Singh Chima, Fatah Karan Singh, and Coach Aziz Khan from the King of the Ring Boxing are here today for this announcement. Councillor Dillon, you were the sponsor. Did you want to speak now? And you'll speak after. Could you come forward to the front here? That sounds really good. From the King of the Ring Boxing.
Thank you, Madam. Good morning, Madam Mayor, and good morning, esteemed council. We represent King of the Ring Boxing Club, and we're very honored and pleased that you've recognized us. We have a very strong youth club, and with us we brought 4 national champions. King of the Ring has produced many, many national champions over the years, but we're very proud this year because we sent 4 provincial champions to compete against the best in Canada, and all 4 came back with gold medals. Now, it's no accident. They're coached by Ajaz Khan, who's one of the top coaches in the country. And King of the Ring Club is predominantly a youth club. I'd say over 90% of our boxers are 17 years of age and younger. And as again, recognized as one of the most successful clubs in the country. I'd like to introduce you to just a few of our top performers this year. We're very proud of them. Jasprit Chima, she is national champion, gold medalist, female division, 81 kilograms. We have Garinder Takar, national champion, gold medalist, female division, 47 kilograms. Fatah Karan Singh, who is male, gold medalist, national champion, 47 kilograms, youth. They were all youth. And I'd like to introduce you to one of our most decorated, in fact, one of the most decorated boxers, young boxers in the country, Sonny Thind. Sonny won last year at 16 years of age, his first national championship at 69 kilograms. Did it again this year at a higher weight, 75 kilograms. He's a multiple winner in provincials, golden gloves, bronze gloves, and silver gloves. He's a world champion in the ringside world championship tournament. And most importantly, he last year at age 16 won the bronze Commonwealth medal in the youth games, competing against 63 other countries. So we're very proud of these kids. They're great inspiration to young people in Brampton. As I say, we have a lot of them in the club. We're always looking for more members and more support. And again, we appreciate very much your time, Madam Mayor and esteemed council, for having us here this morning and recognizing us.
Councilor Dillon.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to thank all of you guys for coming down today, first and foremost. And it's such a great honor for us as a council to represent a city full of champions. And everywhere we go as councilors, people usually ask us, what do you guys have in your water out there that we're producing so many such great caliber of talent. And so what you guys did was a representative of Brampton, that we work hard and then we win, and that we're champions as well. And so we want to take a picture with you, but we also want to honor you with some certificates today. If you guys can just, Peter, we want to come up here? If you guys can just come up in the corner, we'll take a quick picture.
I'll let you do the- Our second announcement on today's agenda is regarding 2018 summer events and markets. Kelly Stahl, Senior Manager of Cultural Services, Economic Development and Tourism, is here for this announcement. Councillor Bowman is the council sponsor. Did you want to speak afterwards? Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Madam Mayor, members of council, CLT. I'm pleased to be here today on behalf of Economic Development and specifically the Cultural Services Division to highlight a summer season of programming events that staff have curated and co-created with local talent, emerging artists, community organizations, and Brampton businesses. I'd like to start off with Brampton on Saturday, June 9th. So Brampton kicks off summer in the city on Saturday, June 9th from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. in downtown Brampton. This community celebration showcases Brampton's open, friendly, diverse community and provides an opportunity for residents to learn about city initiatives and services from our staff teams. Celebrating Brampton's global flavors, more than 15 vendors will line Main Street North, selling a variety of authentic cultural cuisine. Downtown businesses are also joining the fun by offering extended patios and sidewalk sales. Carabram will be on stage showcasing traditional dance, music, and local entertainment. And don't miss the activities hosted by PAMA, Brampton Library, Brampton Beast, and the MLS Cup Trophy Tour and more. Garden Square will come alive with community activities and entertainment. The main stage features all local entertainment and live music performances. Capping off the evening are 3 artists, all originating from Brampton: Selena, Dylan, Dave Steth, and Noise. Next up this summer is the opening of the very popular public markets. The Downtown Brampton Farmers Market on June 16th and the Mount Pleasant Community Village Market on June 21st. Oops. Downtown Brampton Farmers Market is set to open with 80 vendors and local artisans on Saturday, June 16th. The 2018 Downtown Market boasts 17 new vendors and 7 new artists in Garden Square. The downtown market runs from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. until October 6th and features a bi-weekly market newsletter, including a market map highlighting seasonal produce, recipes, and vendor profiles. On June 21st, the weekly evening Village Market in Mount Pleasant opens as a curated community market featuring farmers, prepared food and beverage vendors. This year, we're looking to add additional seating and music to the market, along with a rotation of food trucks, making the Mount Pleasant Square the neighborhood gathering place on Thursday evenings in the summer. Our big day on July 1st, Canada Day. Brampton celebrates Canada Day on June 1st in Chinguacousy Park and promises to be a memorable day. This free event celebrates and strengthens community pride and connectedness by providing a wonderful mix of family activities, food, and entertainment of both a local and national scale. The main attractions include a world-class fireworks show, and I'm pleased to announce today that 8-time Juno Award winner, internationally recognized Canadian Walk of Fame artist, Tom Cochrane with Red Rider as this year's headliner. Platinum-selling artist and Juno nominee Tyler Shaw opens this year's event, having previously opened for Brampton's own Alessia Cara. Moving over to Garden Square, our ever-popular space in the downtown, with attendance in almost 150,000 people last year in 2017. Special announcements this year includes the FIFA games, which will be shown on the big screen, and right now staff are developing a special schedule and communications this week, and we'll share that information as soon as it's available. Garden Square, as you know, in front of the beautiful Rose Theater, kicks off Summer in the Square on June 16th with the launch of the ever-popular Saturday night movies. Each week, catch 2 family-friendly films in the square. Our daily programming opens on the first week of July. On Mondays, Brampton on Screen, we're defining the stories of Brampton. Come out and see local digital media artists showcase their work on the big screen, featuring short and full films, YouTube stars, music videos, and much more. On Tuesdays, it's a night just for youth, Unboxed. Garden Square is the spot for young people to connect every Tuesday and try something new, for free. Activities range from spoken word, painting, sports, and more. Brampton on Stage returns on Wednesday, where you can enjoy music with Brampton's brightest independent emerging artists before they hit the big time. New this year, Garden Square partners with IFSA, the International Film Festival of South Asia, to present Bollywood box office hits every Thursday night. The ever-popular Friday Night Live returns, where you can watch Garden Square come to life with free weekly concerts from some of the industry's biggest names. Featuring a range of genres will include country, rock, hip-hop, indie, and rap this year. And on Sundays, we'll have special events throughout the summer. Get curious, have fun, and enjoy some of Brampton's biggest community events, including East Coast Kitchen Party, Stomp and Stampede, urban dance parties, live entertainment, and more. What's really special to note about Garden Square this year is the effort by staff to curate and co-present with more than 35 community partners you'll see on this screen here today. In addition, the Rose Theater, although the 2018-2019 season doesn't officially kick off until September, there are some great things happening at the Rose Theater, including the Summer Theater Series, which kicks off mid-July with Mickey and Judy, Improv Night in Canada, Murder at the Howard Johnsons, and Wrong for Each Other. The Rose partners with local Brampton organization Flower City Bhangra for the first time to present North America's largest Bhangra competition. And in early September, Michael Keyshammer headlines the World of Jazz Festival at the Rose, presented by Brampton's Be Jazzed. Not only are there a number of community events that we as staff lead, there are also a number of important community-led events that happen each year throughout the summer season. These are a few that we're highlighting as part of our community investment strategy, and we're recipients of the community grant program. Monster World Mashup, Brampton Kite Fest, Carabram, Vibrant Brampton, Chutney Fest, Brampton Food Truck Festival, and World of Jazz. A city unique in both culture and sport, Brampton hosts a wide range of sport events and tournaments throughout the summer months. With more than 100 sport organizations and active volunteer base, athletes bring their passion to play in Brampton. And you can see by this extensive list, starting with this weekend in June, all the way to August, there are a number of both provincial and national championships and tournaments happening in Brampton. In closing, we have a strategic and robust marketing campaign to reach Brampton and beyond, reinforcing the image of Brampton as a vibrant, inclusive, and eventful city that has something to offer everyone. You'll find a few of our marketing pieces in front of you today, which are distributed across the city, in homes, city facilities, local library branches. As well, all event information can be found online at brampton.ca or through our tourism page at tourismbrampton.ca, or by following all of our social media channels. Thank you for the opportunity to share our summer season with you today.
Thank you, Kelly. Councillor Bowman.
Thank you very much. Through you, Madam Mayor. Fantastic. This follows in the footsteps for those of us who were there last week for the Rose Theatre programming, which is astounding. You guys have done a phenomenal job putting this together. Tom Cochran and Red Ryder, is that who you said?
Yes.
That's going to be fantastic. Good for you guys for landing somebody as famous as that to come to our city. It's just going to be a great time this summer in this city. One thing I noticed, the provincial lacrosse championships were last weekend. It didn't make the list, but I just wanted to mention they were here. Really looking forward to this. It's going to be a very, very busy summer, and I thank Bob and you and your Economic Development and Culture Office. They've been very, very busy. And I think, do we have a video, much like we had for the Rose Theatre of all the events? Do we have a video that we can start showing in Garden Square about all the great things, the farmers market opening and all that stuff? Do we have that yet?
I believe we're working on different video content right now. So yes, that will be launching through our social media channels through the summer and related to different events, Garden Square programming and the such.
Perfect, because we've already had, I think, probably all of the councillors have had people ask them when the farmers market is.
Yes.
People are really looking forward to that. With the hot weather here, it can't come soon enough. So thank you very much. Wonderful job.
Thank you, Councillor Fortini.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Kelly and that staff for the great report. I'm just wondering on Canada Day, we got Jacuzzi Park on our parking issue. People parking both sides of the roads. We can't get a fire truck or ambulance in. Are we taking any measures to avoid only parking on one side and maybe spread it out a little bit further, not just block into the last, 4 or 5 roads around the park? Because that's all we're doing is bringing it out. Now, I know it's on a Sunday. I don't know if Grammy City Center is open that day or not, because, if it's not open, we have more parking there, because we have a big problem in that area there for the parking, especially at night when the fireworks come. People can't get in and out, and just where something does happen, we're not gonna get a truck in there.
Thank you, Councillor Fortini. I do appreciate the comment, and we'll work with our staff to ensure that we're being mindful, as well with Brampton emergency measures and our.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll circle back with the council?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kelly. Appreciate it. Our next announcement on today's agenda is regarding Crossing Guard Appreciation Day, which is June 12th. Skirton Supervisor, Crossing Guards, Public Works, and Engineering is here today for this announcement. Councilor Fortini is the council sponsor for the announcement. Do you want to speak now? Afterwards? Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you, Madam Mayor and members of council. June 12th is Crossing Guard Appreciation Day in Peel, and we celebrate that the second Tuesday of every year. As we near another end of a school year, it's a perfect time to thank our crossing guards for all that they do. Every day, in all kinds of traffic conditions and in every kind of weather, they provide an invaluable service to the city and keep our children safe. It takes a special person to do this job, and we are very lucky that we have a number of guards that have worked for the city for over 20 years and a few that have been with us for 30 years. As you're in the community today and on June the 12th, please take a moment to show your appreciation to a crossing guard and the work that they do. A simple thank you goes a long way with our staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Fortini.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Violet. I agree. It's a lot of hard work for them for the weather and traffic and all. A lot of people don't understand or know the hard work you put into it, that you're up at 5 o'clock in the morning and juggling people, you make plans for the day and then you gotta move people around. They don't show up or they're sick or something. So I really wanna thank you for your hard work and all the crossing guards.
Thank you.
We want to thank you and all the crossing guards, rain or shine. And there's one at Conestoga and Sandalwood that likes to dance whenever I drive by. So I appreciate the waving and the dancing and the safety that they provide.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, our agenda is gonna move along pretty quickly here. Items 8.1 and 8.2 are part of our consent agenda, as is 8.3. 8.4, this is an item that was withdrawn. This is a report with regards to Candepcon Foreside Estates. Was this going to be referred? I believe, Councillor Moore, you were going to be speaking to this one? 8.4? 8.4. It was extracted, but there's no, I don't have a recommendation. It was just extracted.
So there is a motion to defer. It has to be introduced. It hasn't been introduced yet.
I just got to extract it, that's all I got to do. Okay, so we're receiving correspondence and we're deferring this item. Is that right? Deferring to June 13th. All those, so it's being moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Fleshy. All those in favor? That's carried. 8.6, 7, and 8 are all in consent, as are 8.9, 10, and 11, as well as 12. We're now at item 10, which is committee reports or minutes. We have 3 sets of committee reports on today's agenda. Under council's meeting procedures, the committee or section chair introduces their committee report or minutes and summarizes the matters considered that are now being brought forward to council today for ratification. Councillor Willens, you're a member of the Brampton Heritage Board, met on May 15th. The Heritage Board minutes are before council today, since Planning and Development Committee on May 28th was canceled. Committee minutes are here for council approval. I now pass the chair to you to lead council in consideration of those committee minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Does council have any questions on the minutes from the last Heritage Board meeting? Seeing none, I'll pass them back to you, Madam Mayor, for ratification.
Okay, I have motion moved by Councillor Willens, seconded by Councillor Bowman, that the minutes from the Heritage Board meeting of May 15th be received and the recommendations be approved. All those in favor? That's carried. Councillor Pellecci, you chaired Audit Committee, which met on May 22nd. The committee minutes are here for council approval. I now pass the chair to you to lead council in consideration of the committee minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Audit Committee met on May 22nd. The Audit Committee enhances council's oversight and stewardship responsibilities. It provides a focal point for improved communication between council and internal statutory auditors and management. We had our first delegation from a report from Kevin Travers, our audit from KPMG, Audit Findings Report. The year ended December 31st, 2017. We had another presentation from Senior Manager Accounting, Deputy Treasurer Corporate Services, KPMG Audit Findings, Mayor and Councilor's Expense Management Update. Following that was 2 reports from our auditor. One was Status and Management Action Plans. One was a Road Resurfacing Audit Report. The other report from Finance was 2017 Audited Consolidated Financial Statements for the City of Brampton. Members of council, do you have any questions on the minutes that are in front of you? Seeing none, Madam Mayor, pass back to you for ratification.
Thank you. Councillor Pellecci has moved, seconded by Councillor Moore, that the minutes be received and the recommendations be approved. All those in favor? That's carried. Committee of Council met on May 23rd. The committee minutes are here for approval. I'll now pass the chair to the respective section chairs in order of consideration during the committee meeting to lead council in consideration of the committee minutes. Councillor Willens, you chaired Public Works and Engineering section.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We had six reports. 4 of them were related to traffic bylaw changes, and one was on the LRT update, maintenance responsibilities, and awards 3 and 4. The other report was from Senior Project Engineer on the closing of Goreway Drive to request begin procurement, purchasing bylaw 4.0 Goreway Drive CN rail grade separation in Ward 8. Are there any questions? If not, pass it back to you, Madam Mayor, for ratification.
Thank you. Councillor Pelletier, you chaired the Community Services section. I'll turn the chair to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. At Community Services, we deal with matters within the jurisdiction of the city's Community Services Department, including recreation, culture services, Service Brampton, corporate buildings, property services, real estate, as well as transit and fire. The one report we had at that meeting dealt with new bus maintenance and storage facility. Members of council, do you have any questions on this? Seeing none, I pass back to you for ratification.
Thank you. Councillor Bowman, you chaired Economic Development and Culture section. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, we had one report in Economic Development and Culture, and that was a report from Bob Darling, Director of Economic Development, on the Performing Arts Economic Development User Fee Edition of the new Stageline SL75 mobile stage. And it was, we had a presentation on that, and that was followed up with a staff recommendation, which passed. And that was it for Economic Development. Seeing no questions, Madam Mayor, I will pass it back to you for ratification.
Thank you. Councillor Dillon, you chaired Corporate Services section. I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There were a number of reports, all which carried. The 2017 year-end operating budget and reserve report, the capital projects financial status report, year-end 2017 budget amendment, enforcement of illegal nuisance signs on city property and litter enforcement, and the bylaw to regulate parking on boulevards, front yards, and side yards, and fostering a healthy workplace, building the framework for health and safety policy and workplace violence policy. As mentioned, all carried, and there was a note to file for the Inclusion and Equity Committee for the April 26th meeting, as there was not quorum. Seeing Councilor Fortini, are you on board?
Yes, thank you through the chair. Just a quick question. And the last committee, I asked some questions about the parking. You know, we're trying to get people to commute by transit and all, and we have issues in my area that there's not enough parking spots in the driveway. They only have one parking spot, so the babysitter is forced to park on the road, and she comes at 7 until 7 at night, and they're always issuing tickets. If we could see if we could do maybe special permits for those type of people, so they're getting tickets all the time because they don't have any parking, and they're forced to park on the road for the day.
Through you, Madam Mayor, we did look at it. There are no special exemptions or permits available for extended parking past the 14 days that we already permit. We'd have to look at something new. We haven't had any other requests at this time.
Okay, so how can we help these, you know, you have a server coming in the morning, and they're taking transit, you know, and they don't have the parking. At the end, they're forced to pay a ticket every day, $30, might as well, you're gonna be forced to take the car, I guess.
Absolutely. Through you, Madam Mayor, what I could request that maybe we can deal with this as a one-off, and we can involve our parking enforcement manager, JP Maurice, and we can look at what alternatives there are within the scope of what the bylaws are.
Okay, thank you, because I just, they come at 7 till 7 at night sometimes, and they're trying to get a driveway or the neighbor a parking spot. You cannot leave little kids go in there, start moving your car, because the other people have to park on the road, so it happens both ways also for the people using the other driveway. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Pelletier.
Stay up there, Paul. Just a question and a comment. Paul, did anybody reach out to you, any news agencies, about the nuisance signs and the bylaws to regulate the parking?
Through you, Madam Mayor, no.
Do we know if anybody in communications or anything? Because it made the news on a couple stations, and it was receiving like high congratulations and accolades for the steps that we've done with the signs and the parking. So I was just wondering if the news agencies had reached out to us at all, and if we had discussed it with them. No?
And not to any of my knowledge, and nobody spoke to me, so.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no further questions, I pass it back to Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I have a motion moved by Councillor Bowman, seconded by Councillor Willems, that the Committee of council meeting of May 23rd the minutes be received and the recommendations be approved. All those in favor? It's carried. We're now at, so we're not dealing with 12 anymore. We got with it, okay. So we're at other business, new business. The 16.1 is a verbal update from Mr. Martin Bull, I believe. Welcome, Martin. I hear you're here to give us some exciting news about the Bio Conference in Boston.
Good morning, Mayor and councilors. I have a short update from Economic Development on a very exciting mission that the mayor and I are on next week. We are traveling to Boston to promote Brampton's health and life sciences sector at the Global Biotechnology Innovation Conference, the world's largest pharmaceutical and life sciences conference. Last year's conference in San Diego was very successful in terms of new leads generated and partnerships worked on, and we are going to continue to build on that. I'm also very pleased to announce that this year, Brampton's most innovative and exciting company will be traveling with us, MDA. MDA, as most of you know, is the manufacturer of the Canadarm. And we've recently, in conversations with Dan King, who is their Director of Business Development, who is leveraging as a company space technology into surgical methodologies and surgical robotic tools for medical and health and life sciences, developing a new division here in Brampton. So very exciting news, very exciting that Dan is going to be with us and supporting and promoting Brampton as a health and life sciences sector. This year, the mayor will also be hosting a networking session of 20 industry leaders at a breakfast meeting. We also have at least 5 or 6 tours and meetings set up, including a very important tour of the Merck Innovation Lab in Boston. Merck was actually in Brampton a year or so ago talking to Osler about some therapeutic work. So this is a very good follow-up for us to actually tour and meet with their business development leads in Boston. We are also partnering very closely with our Ontario colleagues at the Ontario Investment Office, who this year have a very interesting pavilion, and the whole theme is convergence. And it's a very important theme because it merges the technology of medical and life sciences and MDA's work with healthcare. So we are going to be part of that pavilion. We are using their space for meetings. Several meetings have been set up. And also the mayor will be speaking at the Ontario Luncheon with the Ontario Investment Secretariat. Approximately 200 members will be attending. So just to give you a quick idea, this is a very truly global conference. 16,000 participants from around the world. All the leading global health and life science companies are there. Universities, not-for-profit groups seeking partnerships and opportunities for business. Large pharma companies like Johnson & Johnson, Biogen, Lilly, Merck, many others will be there. Many countries are represented, 34 at last count, including Europe, Asia, and India, and we will have a chance to talk to many of those companies as we're at the booth. 1,800 exhibitors talking about technology and life science opportunities from around the world, and expert seminars on a variety of topics on health and life sciences. From Ontario, we have a very solid contingent attending. Approximately 200 people from Ontario will be with us, including the major life science organizations, Toronto Health, various research groups that include MARS, the Ontario Brain Institute, Ontario Genomics, and many others will be attending, promoting Ontario, and we will have a chance to also promote Brampton to these organizations while we're at the conference. Several Ontario firms are also represented, MDA, GSK, Sanofi, J-Labs, and many others. RBC will also be there, Clinical Trials Ontario. So in summary, the benefits for Brampton to be here at the Ontario Pavilion attending a global event will be to generate new leads, to continue to promote Brampton as a cluster of preventative care and wellness with one of our key partners in this city, MDA Sciences. So we really look forward to attending this trip and this mission and to meet with companies, generate new leads, promote Brampton, and I will be looking forward to bringing you back some results after this conference, likely within the next month or so. Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments?
Councilor Palashi.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thanks, Martin. Everything, it sounds good. Sounds really good.
Thank you.
When you come back, I was wondering if, coming from the private sector, and I had salesmen go out and, you know, we building bridges and do our sales calls and stuff. And essentially, I think this is what we're trying to achieve, a little bit different through government. But I'd like to understand kind of that start to finish scenario, step by step on how you guys go out and get the hook, line, and sinker into a business to bring them into Brampton. Maybe, you know, some previous work that had been done, and then going forward, kind of what are those steps?
Sure, yeah.
I think I'd like to understand that, if
Okay.
that's not too much.
So we'll put that into the detailed, into the report in terms of best practices. But essentially, right now, we use a variety of methods in generating the leads through our partners in Life Sciences Ontario, the provincial government, our own contacts following up from last year. So essentially, the sales process starts with a very big funnel. And then you just continue to work it down to setting up meetings specifically at Bio. And then most importantly, and I've learned this through San Diego, is the follow-up. So the follow-up in terms of the information that's needed, that's provided on time, and then continue to work with the company or the organization to actually to get them to come here. So that's our ultimate goal. And that, as you may understand from the private sector and other organizations, that does take time. And it is really a starting point in building the awareness that Brampton as a sector is even in this game globally. So we have to do a lot of work to partner with Ontario, to partner with life science organizations. Next year, hopefully work closer with Osler and with Ryerson to build a bigger team that goes to Philadelphia next year, if that's approved. And then, again, it's just the follow-up, and it's the connections on LinkedIn, on social media. And again, in my world, it's getting them to come here.
Yeah.
That's the end of the cycle, and then finding the location, the talent, and so on. But it is a big world out there. It is very competitive. There are a lot of organizations, there are a lot of jurisdictions looking at health and life sciences. And from my understanding right now and the work that I've done in the last year, we are well positioned. We are looking at prevention and wellness and diabetes as key areas of focus, which then which does set us apart from some of the other jurisdictions.
And, okay, just a follow-up question to that then. The majority of the contacts that we get, are we looking for these businesses to expand or relocate? Or does it depend on trying to, I guess first you need to understand what they want before we can offer them anything.
Yeah.
But is it more so expansions or relocation?
I think right now in life sciences, you're seeing a lot of opportunities for partnerships. It's not really a method of, you know, a big pharmaceutical coming in and necessarily building a new plant. Those are really long-term decisions. But if we can get some research going here in Brampton around, for example, diabetes with Osler, and maybe there's an opportunity to do something with MDA on surgical applications, for example. That then starts building the so-called so what. The buzz around Brampton is health and life sciences. We have a focus. Here's another key area. And oh, by the way, did you know that MDA is in the city? Do you know that Medtronic is in it? Do you know that Osler is expanding? But we can only do that in many cases in having face-to-face conversations and really understanding and asking the question, what are you as a company or organization looking for and how can we help you? And then to me, it's the most important part of my work is the follow-up, the data, the connections, and the support.
And I kind of wanted this into the report, but since you've given a pretty good explanation, I've just got a couple other questions. Do you feel like, so next week you guys are going to Boston?
Yep.
Next year you're hoping to go to Philadelphia?
Yep.
Do you feel like, is that enough? Should we be doing more? Are there more, you know, conferences that are globally that we should be attending?
There is one other conference that I have started attending. It was in Toronto, so it was cost effective, and that's the Medical Devices Conference. And given that Medtronic is headquartered here, Canadian headquartered, it is an area that I'm looking at. But that is something that I will have to talk to my boss and build into a budget plan. But yes, I am thinking that the two conferences for health and life sciences need to focus on bio and medical devices. And so, yes, there is probably, within limited scope of resources, there's only so much one can do to focus, and I do think the key areas are those two, the bio and the medical devices.
Okay.
But yes, I will definitely, in my report coming back, I always look for lessons learned and best practices from, around the world or people that we meet and, learning from the Ontario team and others, how to better build this sales funnel for Brampton, right? Because we do have a lot of leads and we generate a lot of interest. It's how to keep that going. And a lot of these are global companies, they go back to their countries, so how to keep that relationship going is very important.
Okay, thanks, Martin. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Okay?
And thank you, Martin, it sounds like we're gonna have a legal place to meet with people.
Yes.
Whereas last year, we were just taking offices where we could find them to meet with people. So
Yes.
this is a much better organized a trip for us. The last time was, we did well, considering how short the timeline was, but I feel much more confident that we're going to be able to achieve some measurable results by the time we return. So thank you for the
Okay.
update. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wow, it just got dropped.
Do we need to move receipt of the verbal update? Counselor Pleshy, would you move the verbal receipt? All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Our next item of business is item 16.2. This is the OPA Royal Cliff item that you brought, Counselor Pleshy, I believe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've had an opportunity to look at it. I don't think I don't have any questions,
No.
but I know it was just dropped in front of members of council, so, but I'm good.
Okay, I believe it's a report from Development Planning Services Department. It's a report, it's in accordance with council direction, and you're gonna move it? Seconder, Counselor Willens? All those in favor? That's carried. 16.3 is Riverstone. This is an item Counselor Fortini put on the agenda. Counselor Fortini?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Going back in the last 3-4 days, I added this reason for discussion. I had a bunch of emails and calls on Riverstone that the roof is all, through the storm, the roof has been missing and siding, and it's been over 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks to the storm. We haven't done nothing about it. But there was emails sent to Gail Miles, Councilor Miles and stuff. I never was copied on it, and one of the residents forwarded them to me. And it says here that we haven't taken possession yet of the property, and this past May 13 has been 5 months since we approved this. So what's the holdup on taking possession, and why we haven't fixed the roof? And, it's now tomorrow, Friday, we're gonna have lots of rain, so it's gonna be more damage to
Diana,
it.
is this an in-camera conversation we should be having?
And so I would suggest that if you wanted to discuss the pending acquisition, it would be a matter that you might consider taking it closed.
So Counselor Fortini, would
Well-
you be willing to put this in camera so we can have a conversation about it?
I'm worried more about the roof than
Yes,
possession.
but I believe
Okay.
that this is appropriate
will.
based on legal advice. So we'll put it on in camera?
Okay.
Okay. Do we need to move that, Mr. Clay? You'll add to the agenda. Okay, our next item of business is 18.1. It's a motion moved by Counselor Pleshy, seconded by Counselor Moore, that the report be received. All those in favor? That's carried. We're now at public question period. This is where we invite members of the public to come forward to the podium to ask questions about any decisions made by council at today's meeting. There's a 15-minute limit for all questions and answers. Are there any questions from the public about a decision made by council at today's meeting? Seeing none, we're now at the portion of the meeting dealing with the adoption of city bylaws to give effect to the council decisions made at this meeting and previous meetings. I have a motion moved by Counselor Bowman, seconded by Counselor Willens, to approve the bylaws. All those in favor? That's carried. Our next item of business is closed session. I have a motion moved by Counselor Bowman, seconded by Counselor Wellens, that council proceed into closed session to discuss matters pertaining to the following: 21.1 minutes closed session, City Council of May 16th, 2018. 21.2 minutes closed session, Audit Committee, May 22nd, 2018. 21.3 minutes closed session, Committee of Council, May 23rd, 2018. 21.4, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. And our new added item, 21.5, pending disposition or acquisition of property by the municipality or local board. All those in favor? That's carried. This meeting is now recessed in order for council to consider its closed session business. We'll be meeting in the room back here. We could do it in about 10 minutes. After the meeting, as many of you know, our meetings must start and end in public session. After closed session is completed, council will reconvene in public session here in this room to complete its business on today's agenda, including reporting out on any actions arising from its closed session portion of the meeting, passing a confirming bylaw to confirm the proceedings and decisions from this meeting, and adjourning the meeting. We're recessed. Okay, we're back after closed session. In the continuing interest of transparency and open government, I will report in public session any outcome from today's closed session business. As a result of our closed session today, I wish to report the following: 21.1 minutes closed session, City Council, May 16th, 2018. These minutes were acknowledged by Council. 21.2 minutes closed session, Audit Committee, May 22nd. These minutes were acknowledged by Council. 21.3 closed session, Committee of Council, May 23rd. These minutes were acknowledged by Council. 21.4, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. This item was considered by Council and no direction was given to staff. Our next item of business is item 22, the confirming bylaw. It's moved by Councilor Bowman, seconded by Councilor Wellens, to approve the confirming bylaw to confirm the proceedings and decisions from this meeting. All those in favor? That's carried. Our last item of business, did I miss something?
21.5, was the added closed session item.
Oh, yes. I forgot an additional 21.5, which was the advice that was subject to solicitor-client privilege.
Proposed or pending acquisition or disposition.
And then with regards to disposition of property. So, based on that, all those in favor, that added item? Thank you, that's carried. Our last item of business is item 21, adjournment. Thank you, members, for your respectful consideration and decisions today. Thank you to staff for your information and advice. Council is next scheduled to meet Wednesday, June 13th at 9:30, Wednesday, June 27th at 9:30. These meetings will both be held here in Boardroom West Towers, C, 2C and 2D, West Tower, due to council chamber renovations underway. I have a motion for adjournment, moved by Councilor Bowman, second by Councilor Spovieri. All those in favor? That's carried. This meeting is adjourned.